fighting against corruption in terms of having not only the possibility to have the preventive way of acting, but also punitive measures. That means to include much more of this in terms of being as effective as it possible. Saying that doesn't mean that we are now not operating in accordance with the plans. There are operational plans for several of the sectors which find to be the most affected by the corruption. Last but not least, let me remind you also the role of the fight against corruption in the new negotiating methodology. So it's not only situated in one part of one chapter of one action plan with the several of the closing benchmarks, but it's become horizontal. That is now part of the cluster fundamentals, which is extremely important cluster, the first one to be open, the last one chapters to be closed, of course, but focusing on anti-corruptive measures, which will be included almost in all or each and every of the other chapters of the negotiation process. That is what we have to have in mind when preparing for both opening and closing chapters. And last thing that I would like to tackle is the cooperation with the civil society organization in terms of fighting with corruption, or better to say, in boosting the reforms in the rule of law sector. That is something that we started back in 2013 with creating the National Convention for the European Union, which means a very strong and, I would say, resilient instrument of civil society overseeing the work in the negotiation process. Resilient in terms that it is my astonishment to see that after 3 years not being in Serbia, I saw the importance but also the strength of the National Convention. Only a few days ago we had a very good discussion on the law, on police, because the civil society organizations were very vocal that they are not comfortable with some of the solutions. And the other side listened, the comments and the concerns. That is the way that we are going to continuously cooperate in not only reforming the rule of law, not only fighting against corruption, but in all reform agenda of this country. Thank you very much for the invitation. I wish you a very successful exchange today.